She's super cool. So this is a complete aside, I got her dressed up for tonight. She wanted to get, real fancy. And we called the car to come and get us. And the driver got out of the car and opened the door. And she said, "Oh, the prettiest girls go in the front of the car." And he opened the door and let her in. I was like, okay, well, I'll just sit in the back, it's fine. Anyway, good evening. My name is Katy Morgan, and I am here tonight with my husband, Adam, and my children, Daniel, Emma, and Meredith. Tonight, I have the absolute honor of sharing with you the story of my daughter, Emma, the Wisconsin women's basketball team, and their incredible connection facilitated through the extraordinary platform of Team Impact. In Emma's own journey, which is marked by courage, perseverance, and unwavering support, Emma has become more than just a sideline participant. She has become an MVP, and in turn, each one of her teammates on the Wisconsin women's basketball team has also become an MVP to our entire family. So tonight, as I share our family's journey with you, I invite you to think about what it truly means to be an MVP. Not just on the court, because heaven knows that's not me, but in the game of life, where every single act of kindness and every act of inclusion makes a monumental difference in the lives of so many people. So I would like to introduce you and welcome you to a celebration of strength, of unity, and the boundless possibilities when we come together as one team, one family, one MVP at a time. So as many of you may be able to tell, I'm not from around here, although being in California really feels like coming full circle because it's just so much like England, if England had sunshine and beaches, that kind of stuff. It's like home. I moved to America when Adam and I married in 2006. He was at medical school, and I was trying to figure out what on earth somebody does with a master's degree in drama and lives in the hotbed of theatrical and musical opportunities that is Indiana. I soon realized they go to law school. So in 2010, I graduated from the University of Wisconsin Law School. I did mock trial, it was super fun. Didn't do actual trial. We loved going to football games, and it was incredible fun because Adam did both his pathology residency and fellowship at the UW, so we figured we got to, be on the sidelines cheering for Bucky Badger. Like, he's the coolest. And the camaraderie at these sporting events completely overwhelmed my absolute confusion about where that big yellow line is that they show on the TV that tells you where the footballers need to get the ball that you got a first down. Like, that's not there in real life. I don't know if you know that. Like, that's on just CGI. I don't know how it's magic. Plus, we got to do the jump around, which I don't know if you know anything about Wisconsin, but third quarter, we get wild, like as much as I'm a bit arthritic and stuff, but you just jump. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. Anyway, it was incredible, and we really did have a lot of fun going to those games. So when Adam was offered the opportunity to stay in Madison for work, we jumped at the opportunity. Like, we didn't jump around. We were just kind of happy. But we knew it was where we could raise a family and be really, really happy. And that's what we did. And in 2012, we welcomed our twins, Emma and Daniel, and they were followed in 2014 by Meredith, who we affectionately call Edie, who is the diva of the family. And she's the diva, so you can imagine how Emma is and it's amazing. Anyway, so when the twins were babies, we discovered that every 3 months, you have to traipse in to the pediatrician's office, and they have a quiz. And they don't prepare you for it. You don't get to study at home. They just throw this quiz at you. I mean, I went to law school, like I would say that was easier than the ASQ quizzes, which is what they're called, the age, stage, whatever thing that they tell you that you need to suddenly answer questions like whether or not they can pick a Cheerio out of a 2-liter bottle. It's just, you just don't know what they're going to throw at you. So every 3 months, they tell you whether or not your child is achieving the regular trajectory based on their questioning. And every 3 months, the doctor would, make a little comment on how Emma was not quite meeting the milestones. And every 3 months, I would get a little bit more indignant about the questions. Because honestly, the question, can your baby remove a Cheerio from a 2-liter soda bottle, had never occurred to me, because I'm not giving my kid a soda bottle with a Cheerio in it, and it's like, okay, can you remove this Cheerio, please? It's a little bit crazy. So I just feel like they should have warned me, like let's give me the questions ahead of time and we can study for the test. So I kept going to these appointments, and by her 12-month checkup, her pediatrician sort of sat me down in a very serious fashion and said, Katy, I think we need to refer Emma for further testing, and I'm recommending neurology, genetics, and neuropsychology. And I was annoyed, because I felt like we weren't giving her the time to grow into herself, and that maybe if they just changed some of the questions and the challenges from the questionnaires to more reasonable things, like programming a DVD player. I don't know, like a Cheerio. Who gives their kid a 2-liter bottle with it blows my mind that was how they were assessing our children. And, I came away and thought, maybe it is my fault for not having a tape measure to hand at all times to measure whether or not her chin was 3 inches off the floor when she was having tummy time. And maybe that was my fault, but also maybe they were just asking the wrong questions. So I had a little bit of indignance, and then my husband, the doctor, let me rant a little bit longer, and then he said, Katy, I think the pediatrician might be right on this. And so Emma went in for a bunch of tests. She had an MRI that showed something called periventricular leukomalacia, which is a kind of brain damage that affects the white matter of the brain. It was the kind of damage that disrupts the brain's ability to communicate effectively with itself and leads to various developmental issues such as motor problems, cognitive delays, and potentially cerebral palsy. She had genetic testing that showed that she has a very, very rare syndrome called Ververi-Brady syndrome. And this syndrome has 39 known cases worldwide. The oldest person with a diagnosis is 22 years old. It is characterized by developmental delays, delayed speech, learning difficulties, motor planning delays, and social deficits. She had neuropsych testing, which showed that she has ADHD and is autistic. And we had a lot to process. Having spoken now to many, many parents of children with disabilities, diseases, or other chronic illnesses, in the moments of getting a diagnosis for your child, no matter how common or how rare that diagnosis is, the absolute overwhelming feeling is one of isolation. How could anyone possibly understand what your family was experiencing? The first time I took Emma for a procedure, Adam stayed at home with Daniel because we didn't want one of our children to be home alone as I was taking care of the other one. And so when the nurses rolled Emma out of the room in the bed, I truly experienced what it feels like to be absolutely alone for the very first time. And alone is a really, really scary place. Speaking of scary, since those initial diagnoses, Emma has experienced far too many things for one little girl. She has had crash teams called, she's been intubated, she's been in ambulances, been in the PICU, Her heart rate has been so low that nurses have told me that they have never had a child with such a low pulse that they weren't performing CPR on. She has daily seizures, hundreds of them. And Emma has also shown us that she has truly incredible gifts. Her music teacher told us that her singing voice is so good that she should be on Broadway, and her adaptive dance teacher lets her lead the class sometimes. She did not get that from me. Her zest for life is absolutely infectious, and to know Emma is to fall completely in love with her. One day in first grade, she had a hard time at the hands of another child who was not being kind. Emma was not very verbal at that time, so you can imagine my devastation when my sweet, quiet child was crying. And when I asked her if she could tell me what was making her sad, she very, very clearly stated, "Mama, I just want a friend." My goodness. If anyone deserves the experience of a team of people around them to lift their spirits, to take their minds off the sometimes really terrifying realities of life, it is a child with a chronic condition. I shared that feeling with Emma's geneticist, and he said to me, "Have you heard of Team Impact?" He told me it was a nonprofit program that connects children facing serious or chronic illnesses with college athletic teams, with the idea that they form a bond that provides emotional support and strength. Wait a minute, he said athletic teams. My knowledge of sport was limited to the very quaint games of rounders, netball, and tennis that I learned growing up in my little village in England. When I was a teenager, I definitely thought I had a very, very worldly understanding of sports and teams, as I happened to be taking a textiles course at high school, and our brief was to create cheerleading costumes. So I decided to get very, very creative. Am I going to embarrass my kids right now? I decided to get very, very creative and design a basketball cheerleader's costume for one of those big, famous American teams that I know tons about because I watch a lot of American TV shows like Saved by the Bell, The Wonder Years, Baywatch, which FYI I was able to reenact this morning. It was very exciting on the beach. So I worked very hard and I made a skirt that was accented by a basketball net and an orange top that had this black piping, and it looked exactly like a basketball going through a hoop. It was really cool. It was fabulous. I'm pretty sure I got an A. I don't really remember, but probably. So I picked the most famous American basketball team that I knew of, and I put their logo right in the middle of the cheerleader's top. You're probably wondering who was the team, right? Because it's very famous and obviously really, really awesome, and everybody in England knew all about it. And I'm very happy to tell you that the very famous American basketball team was the Chicago Bears. So, this is a true story. It's very, very sad. So I think that should let you know a little bit about my knowledge of sports and teams. Minimal. Needless to say, when they said, "Hey, Team Impact Sports," I was like, "Oh, great, that sounds really great." And we were both honestly a little bit concerned that we would be expected to have the most basic knowledge of sports. So I cannot tell a lie, we had to be very convinced and to get involved, you know. We could not see how our family of professional bench warmers, very good at that, and opposing team secret weapons, which we don't accept payment for, we just are there, could possibly benefit from this program. But how wrong could we possibly have been? When our family was invited to the Cole Center to meet Coach Mo, Coach KB, and the entire University of Wisconsin women's basketball team, we could not have known the myriad ways in which our lives would be forever changed for the better. The team not only extended their arms and hearts to embrace our daughter Emma, but our entire family. And I remember sending Lynn, who is our case manager at Team Impact, an email 6 months after Emma joined the team. And in it, I said, I wanted to reach out to share with you the profound impact that this experience is having on Emma. When we signed up for Team Impact, it felt like maybe it would be a fun, unique, and cool experience, but we had no idea how transformative it would be. Emma is fully invested in being a part of the team. She loves all of her teammates dearly. She watches the entirety of the games, which for Emma is an incredible feat in and of itself. And if that wasn't enough, she is emotionally connected to those girls, which is the most incredible part of all as far as we are concerned. And to this day, that remains completely true. Emma is 100% a teammate of the Wisconsin women's basketball team. She is one of the loudest supporters in the Kohl Center. She knows her girls will come over to our house and hang out with her anytime. She loves it when she can break out onto the court and run out with the team, and mostly refuses to come back afterwards, which means she doesn't get invited out that way. I have had to run out onto the court to get her at some point, so now I always wear really good running sneakers that make me run really fast. But she really prefers the idea that she could be ready as soon as Coach Mo called her out. And as soon as Coach Mo called her number, which is number 16, which she just decided on the first time that she met the entire team, everyone was going around in a circle. Hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm number so-and-so. It got around to Emma. She said, hi, I'm Emma, I'm number 16. I'm like, oh, I guess you are. So now she's number 16. She was even able to go out trick-or-treating for the very first time without me because her girls took her out. They have pool parties together at our house. They have Santa visit them at our house. They go on hay rides around Christmas lights. They have the most incredible karaoke and dance parties in our basement. Our family travels with a team. We go to games and to tournaments from Indiana to Florida and everywhere in between. We were invited to Mexico, but Adam had to work, so we weren't allowed to go. Oh, sad. Thanksgiving could have been much funner. We have the best time. The highlight, though, was really the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis for the last 2 years, and I hope that we'll get to go again this year. Emma is the first one ready to go, and she's ready with her cheers that she makes up on the fly or she practices. She just loves these cheers that she creates. Her absolute favorite moment, talking about cheers, is after any game, whether they win or lose, or before any game, whether or not she knows they're going to win or lose, or during a karaoke party, or really just any time ever, when she can lead a rousing rendition of her absolute favorite chant ever. MVP, MVP. She's had these soccer boys out here chanting with her today. Anyone that she will get as a captive audience will be yelling MVP for Emma. She said on numerous occasions that since she became a part of the team, she knows she will never, ever be lonely again. And I cannot tell you how much comfort that gives to her dad and me. Now, lest you think this is all sunshine and rainbows, there has been one very significant downside that I want to discuss this evening, and that downside is exclusively mine. I was so excited the first time that the team came over to our house to hang out. I was getting everything ready, thinking about how cool it was for Emma to be able to develop a relationship with these young women, and how cool it was going to be for me, a cool young woman myself, to have a new group of peers to be cool with. You can only imagine my dismay when I realized that not only am I old enough to be every single one of their mothers, but if I were their mom, it wouldn't have even been scandalous. I would have been grown up and married when I had them. And frankly, I really did not appreciate being made to feel that old. So through my own version of therapy, I have made my peace with my new role as team mom. Cool, mom. And each year I get to go in and I decorate their locker room for Christmas and host parties as often as they will let me. They actually have practice over Christmas this year. Cannot go home to be home with their own families, and it made my heart burst when they asked if they could spend Christmas Day with us. But even though this is really cool, I really liked it better when I still thought that I was young and cool myself. Now, our family of 5 is preparing to become a family of 6, as in the next 2 months, our adoption of a 14-year-old Colombian boy will be finalized, and we will be able to bring him home. He is in remission from leukemia. He went through all of his treatment and all of his chemotherapy without a family, without a steady team around him. And I already know that as soon as he is settled in, the most important call that I am going to make is to Team Impact, to see if he can join one of the Wisconsin teams. It is that important and that transformative. So as we reflect on the journey that brought us to this moment, I'm reminded of the profound impact that every act of kindness, every gesture of inclusion has on the lives of those facing adversity. So tonight we stand not only as witnesses to Emma's incredible transformation into a true MVP, embraced by the Wisconsin women's basketball team and Team Impact, but we are also standing here as advocates for a future where every child, regardless of their circumstances, has the opportunity to shine as brightly as Emma has. To the Wisconsin women's basketball team, we extend our deepest gratitude for opening your hearts and welcoming Emma into your fold, showing us all what it truly means to be champions, both on and off the court. And to Team Impact, we thank you for your unwavering commitment to fostering these life-changing connections that transcend the boundaries of illness and disability, reminding us that true MVPs are not just defined by their athletic prowess, but by their capacity for compassion, empathy, and inclusion. To every single one of you here tonight, an enormous thank you, because without your support, Team Impact would not be able to do the incredible work that it does. And even though my family and I don't know each one of you personally or by name, I hope that you come away from this knowing that you have had a profound impact on our lives just by supporting Team Impact. As we continue to champion the spirit of unity and support exemplified by Team Impact and the Wisconsin women's basketball team, I hope that we can all pledge to be MVPs in our own right, spreading kindness, lifting others up, and making a difference in the lives of those who need it the most. I'd like to invite you all. Emmy, are you coming? Excellent. Come here. Yes. Exactly.
I can't lift fast enough.
Woo!
No, I can't lift fast enough.
You got it. And that's exactly right. I wanted to invite you to do that with us because it's Emma's special chant. And you know, this time, that wasn't just for Emma, but it was for each and every single one of you too. Thank you so much for being MVPs. MVP, 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 MVP. All right, you